I tell you what, let's start with Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, the President of the United States won by 44,000 votes. That's like that. In Michigan, the President of the United States won by 10,000 votes. That's like that. In Wisconsin, the President of the United States won that state by 22,000 votes. That's like that. In Florida, the President of the United States won the state of Florida by 100,000 votes. That's around 1% of the electorate. The President of the United States benefited from low black turnout because a lot of blacks did not go to the polls and they sat at home because they were not enthusiastic about Hillary Clinton. And I mean, can't really blame them, but I mean, so they sat at home. Don't count on that this round. Blacks will be turning out this round. And they will turn out to close to record numbers this round. On top of that, the president was also spurred on by independents. Independents basically, for all intents and purposes, won the president his election. So all these things that the president benefited from in his 2016 campaign, you simply cannot count on in 2020 because, I mean, you know, emotions change. We're dealing with people here, you know, and the same people that voted for you this round won't necessarily be there for you the next round. I'm talking about people who basically move the pendulum or move the needle rather in the president's favor. And when you talk about the Democrats who are experts in racism, these are professional people when it comes to dealing with racism. Like, nobody can stir up a racist pot. Nobody can sell racist tickets. Nobody can promote or caricaturize someone or something, anything you could think of as being racist better than the Democratic Party. So the president is dealing with professional and expert race baiters. And a lot of this right here is going to stir the pot. A lot of this right here will have its intended impact. It will rile up the Democratic base. It will turn out higher than last campaign. Black voter turnout. I mean, this is what's going to happen. They're just throwing Hail Marys. They're throwing Hail Marys after Hail Marys, and the President of the United States continues to bite in. He continues to feed in on this fodder in terms of this bait that's been thrown his way. He just can't help himself. He's like at a smorgasbord or at some, cheap buffet somewhere where, he's feeling like, he's missing out on some of the food. Somebody else is going to get the last piece of chicken or the last bowl of gumbo. Like he just cannot help himself. That's his problem right now. That's his big problem right now, because at some point, at some time, you got to come to your senses and realize what's being done. What is the strategy that's being carried out here? What is the plan? In what way could I lose the election? In what way could I be a one-term president? And this is the way. This is the way. This is the way the Democrats operate. They sit up here and they get him to say just stuff off the top of his head, just blurt off the top of his head, like he normally does, and get him to goof up, and they sell it to the people. They spread it to the people, just like what they about to do with this, this condemnation of the president. They're going to just sell it to the people. And a lot of people are going to buy into it. Why? Because a lot of people aren't very educated on the issues. They don't really know too much. All they know is this right here says they on my side, and they says Trump's a racist. Well, I hear everybody says Trump a racist. I ain't voting for Trump. Even people that are marginal or moderate Republicans will turn face on the president, and they will sit home. Or some of them may even vote for the Democratic ticket. Depends on who the Democratic ticket is. And that's another thing. The Democrats, you heard it here first, the Democrats will throw another woman at this president of the United States. Once again, in this campaign, in this election. The Democrats will come with another female nominee. Be it this one, that one, the other one, whoever. They will push a female nominee over the line to where this president of the United States is going to have to not only defeat the first female nominee for president of the United States, but he's also going to have to defeat the second female nominee for president of the United States. That's 2 back-to-back female nominees from the Democratic Party. 2 first ever from any party for president of the United States that this president is going to have to overcome and defeat. Don't think that's going to be easy. I'm speaking to the president and his administration and his campaign. Please don't think that's going to be easy. It won't be easy. A lot of people are still, in their feelings about last election cycle and how, Hillary got a raw deal and this and that and the other, and, just like the president is right now, sitting on his high horse, thinking he can't be knocked off, thinking he can't be touched, feeling himself on, an astronomical level. Just like he's up there, he could be knocked off, just like Hillary Clinton was knocked off. And she was on her high horse, with her nose all up in the air, thinking that, her stuff, was smelling like roses and that she had this all in the bag and it was over and done with. And it was nothing but, just to put ink on it. The president is starting to eat from that bar. He's starting to show the same signs, and he's starting to have the same posture that Hillary Clinton had against him in his campaign. And we've seen what happened to Hillary Clinton. I'm telling you right now that the same thing could be replicated, and it could happen to this president. He could very well lose if he keeps up this stuff. And it's just, listen, I don't believe that the president of the United States is a racist, but he sure can fool a lot of people. Let's just say it that way, right? If he's not a racist, he sure has the ability to fool a lot of people, to have them believe that he is a racist. We're not going to even talk about his daddy. His daddy was a racist, all right? And his daddy was a racist. I'm sure his grandpa probably was a racist too. I mean, that was the culture back then, all right? If you grew up in that time, the baby boomer culture, the culture prior, all those people, racism, that was it. They didn't like these N-words. That's just all it was. It's no N-words. Like, N-words are, down here. Whites are, You know, N-words, down there. So that was the culture back then. So it's not hard to believe that the president's father was a racist. And you've seen the way he did business. If you know anything, do some research and you'll find out the way the president's father did business. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, his father was following in the steps of his grandpa. So racism is in his family line. And the president has made some shady comments. And then when you want to take it to the situation with the former president of the United States, Barack Obama, and the president's usage of, the birther ploy. And that's what it was. It was a ploy. He was a ploy to stir up some chaos, to take out the measuring stick, seeing, where he was, and, what can he do? What's his allies? What's his strategy? Basically trying to stir up some stuff to curry favor with the bloc that was actually dismayed and just absolutely floored and disgusted because the former president Barack Obama did get elected and become the first black president of the United States of America. The president was I mean, it's funny to me because I understand the tactic. It's not funny for everybody though, because you don't really understand the strategy that's involved. See, I've been around all type of people. I've dealt with all type of individuals, all type of dudes. I've been around so many different types. So I understand the strategy that's at play when you talk about the president just trying to stir the pot up, trying to see what he can get, see what he can find, see what he can mix up. And all the time, putting himself separate from whatever is in the pot. So he's staying clean. And that's all that was with the birther ploy. The president's just trying to gain brownie points, trying to gain support, trying to get his name, out there, strengthen his name. So, for a run for office, which he in turn did. But the way that's taken to people who don't understand that, or the way that's taken to people who don't want to understand that, which is probably even better, right, is that the president is just a flat out, downright racist. How could he question the former president of the United States, Barack Obama's citizenship? And why is he so, stressed out and just, openly in a tizzy about seeing the president's birth certificate? It came across to a lot of people as racist, right? Then you take the situation with the Charlottesville, Virginia incident, where you had a legion of white supremacist racists marching down on a city, spewing out hatred to people who did not look like them. People who were not white, just spewing out all type of vile stuff, all type of hateful stuff in terms of racism, in terms of prejudice, in terms of bigotry, in terms of nationalism, in terms of xenophobia. It's all type of just pure nonsense, garbage, spilling out a legion of them, many of them out there with signs and whatnot, and carrying on about antagonizing people who did not look like them or people who did not agree with them, just spewing all types of hatred. And what does the president of the United States say to that? There were fine people on both sides. What? There were fine people on both sides of that? Are you serious? Like, that right there that right there, how do you come up with that? How do you make that a comment when you have these type of people antagonizing in that way? That is not a comment that comes from the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the military, and the leader of the free world. That is not a comment that comes from them. You condemn that, you rebuke that, you denounce that, you castigate that, you do all of the above. But you do not say that there are very fine people on both sides of this fence. It ain't. That's preposterous. So what I'm saying is the president has really been goofing up, like in terms of race. And then you see the situation, how these congresswomen have goaded him, using his ego against him, basically, and goading him into a spat, a verbal spat on Twitter, back and forth, and he falling right into their trap, as expected. As expected, because he can't help himself. He cannot, and he does not know how or when it is time for him to put a sock in it. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand it. And so they know this about him, and so they've been doing their homework. They've been watching him, and so they just keep on cutting him. They keep on jugging him. What do they say? What do they say? Death by 1,000 cuts? That's the strategy. That's the strategy here for the Democrats in 2020. Death by 1,000 cuts on this president of the United States. Yeah. I'm telling you, if he keeps it up, you look at everything that helped him into office in 2016. He needs the exact thing to happen again. He needs to win that surely growing independent vote. That's what basically spurred his election. He has to win over the independents again. And I'm telling you, this time it's not going to be as easy. It's not going to, be there for the taking like it was last time, because we had Hillary Clinton running for president. Nobody was excited. The excitement level on the left and the Democratic side of the party was fairly low. And so, the president was able to capitalize on that, that apathy in the Democratic campaign, and he was able to win over those independents and win over those purple states. He's going to have to do all that again in 2020. And like I say, you add on the fact that the Democrats, oh, you better believe it, once again are going to throw a woman at him as the nominee. And don't underestimate how critical that is in this campaign. To have one woman to be nominated for the first time in a political party for the presidency, and to backdoor the next campaign to have another woman be the nominee for the Democratic Party. The Democrats are going to push this woman over the fence. I'm telling y'all right now. So y'all get ready for it. The Democrats are going to push this woman over the fence, whoever that woman may be. If it's this woman, that woman, or if it's Oprah Winfrey, whoever that woman may be, the Democrats are going to push their woman over that finish line at some point here in the future. Just prepare for it, because it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. They're going to do it. So, the president, here you go, round 2. He finna get another woman. And that right there is going to garner up some emotion in the Democratic Party. He got his work. The more he continues to spat off with these freaking freshmen, just just off the streets. Nobody. Now everybody, now they became somebody because they all in the media. And then they got cameras all in their face. They on the cover of magazines. They got, this million Twitter followers now. All of a sudden, they were nobody. Now all of a sudden they became somebody because partly is because the president feuding with him and spatting with him and letting them get under his skin and pick at him. Death by 1,000 cuts. I'm saying, so y'all, I'm telling you, this should be, a situation where we have the president winning re-election in 2020. The Democrats don't really have a viable candidate, a strong candidate that's resolute and leader-like on the world stage. Now as far as border security, listen, the president has his policy on border security. Personally, I believe in strong border security. Does that mean that I'm xenophobic? And in no way. I mean, y'all see my ethnicity. In no way. I'm not xenophobic, but I do believe in strong border security. And the president supports strong border security. I do believe every sovereign nation should have its borders. But I mean, this situation right here where the president is just, on his high horse and seemingly just a bit too cocky, thinking that he can't be touched by these Democrats, is starting to leave his mark. And like I say, there will be more fervor and will be more passion this go around in the Democratic campaign because the president does have a record now. And, they're going to racist him to death. Like I said, they're professional racist mongers. They're going to racist him to death. And, if you're going to racist somebody to death, this is the type of president that it very well could work on. Then, like I say, you don't forget to add the fact they throwing another woman at them. So, by my estimation, the president of the United States needs to cool it. He needs to cool it. He needs to focus on the things that he's doing right in terms of, which is a lot, by the way. He's doing a lot of things right. That's the whole point in all of this. Like, he's doing a lot of things right. Why the freak is he messing around, spatting on Twitter back and forth with congresswomen who just came off the damn streets? They just got in this office. They just got in this role. Like, before this, nobody knew who the heck they was. Before this, we knew who the president of the United States was. We never knew who the heck these people were before they got into Congress. This is their first year. And he's about to risk being a one-term president, spatting back and forth with these congresswomen. It's absurd. President of the United States better check it, and he better check it quick. And, we'll just see. We'll see how it all plays out. But I just wanted to drop that on y'all tonight. And, thanks for watching the video. Y'all continue to hit that and subscribe. And, let's get Gorgeous Responds more viewership. And let's get the word out more and more. Thank you so much. And this is Gorgeous Responds. I am Gorgeous. Have a good day.